Today we'll be discussing my favorite line of Sonic action figures, the 1999 Sonic Adventure toys, made by Resaurus, which has gone out of business unfortunately. This review will cover all the usual points: boxes, articulation, sculpt/paint job, accessories, pros and cons, and warnings. So, without further ado, let's get down to the boxes. I'll try not to spend too much time discussing these, but the Resaurus boxes are really something to behold. We have all kinds of little paper inserts there. Includes golden ring, action figure, figure base. The box displays the figure very well. You can see the ring, the Sonic action figure, the free sticker that comes with it, and also the golden base behind it. More paper inserts. The back of the box details the rest of the figures in the series, tells you about the Resaurus website, and so on. And the inside of the box is filled with all kinds of plastic inserts to make it difficult for bootlegs to replicate the box patterns and such. There's the figure all taken out of the box. Very nice. I love these boxes. Here's Tails in his box. And Knuckles the Echidna inside of his box. Up next, we'll go over articulation. Much like the Sonic Nendoroid figure that I reviewed a while back, the Resaurus action figures do not have much articulation, but they have it where it matters. That being said, while you can definitely get your figure into quite a few cool poses, your options are kind of limited due to the fact that the legs are not on ball joints, and are instead on fixed joints that only move back and forth, and plus the fact that there are only about 7 points of articulation per figure. I also feel the need to point out that Resaurus really nailed it when it came to Knuckles' head and arm articulation. The dreadlocks on Knuckles' head are made out of a really soft rubbery material that flexes back and forth very easily so that his arms can pass under them and between them with ease. If you'll notice, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles really don't look like they're from any video game in recent memory, and even looking back at Sonic Adventure artwork, they don't really seem to fit in with that either. It's my belief that when making these figures, the company Resaurus asked themselves not what would make a perfect looking figure, but what would make a really good toy, and in that aspect I think they really succeeded. Each of these figures is filled with attitude and style, and I think each one of them really has their own personality. A lot of Sonic figures look kind of generic and, yes it's Tails, yes it's Sonic, but look at that. Sonic's acting all cool, Tails is kind of geeky and eager to go, and Knuckles... well, I think Knuckles looks good, but I believe he suffers the most from the weird sculpting on these figures. Sonic and Tails, I think it sort of makes them iconic and recognizable and cool, and the Knuckles is definitely recognizable, but he's not really that cool. So even though the Resaurus Sonic figures don't look very game accurate, especially by today's standards, Resaurus actually captured a lot of the smaller details very nicely. Sonic has his yellow shoe buckles, of course, the white areas on the back of his shoes that he used to have, which I kind of miss. I thought that made his shoes really cool. He's got his socks. He has nicely posed fists, very, helps to create cool poses for the character and gives it a lot of expression. His paint's all very nice. No real overlap or things to worry about. Maybe a little bit on the seam of his neck or a little bit on his shoes, but really nothing to talk about. His eyes are painted nicely, although they're really big, but again, it just adds to the style of the character, I think. And his spikes definitely look a little bit off, especially from today's standards. But overall, extremely satisfactory sculpt on Sonic and paint job. The Resaurus Tails probably has my favorite sculpt out of the bunch because it just is filled with so much character, which is why I use it a lot in my stop motions and not really the Sonic or Knuckles. Anyway, it has everything that you would expect from a Tails figure. You have his little cheek fluff, his nose, his nice grin, his blue eyes, nicely positioned, his bangs, which are made out of a nice rubbery material so they don't break off, ears, his fists are in some good poses for posing. He has his gray paint there, his gray paint there, his red and white stripes, his gray outline of his shoes, and the one tread on the bottom of his shoes like he had in Sonic Adventure. His two tails are also nicely sculpted, and I enjoy that they're on center when they rotate, unlike the Jazzwares tails that has them rotate like all around that way. Don't really care for that. And that about sums it up for the sculpt of the Tails figure. Very pleasing, very nice. Unfortunately for Knuckles, he's kind of where the Resaurus charm starts to wear off a bit. Now, while the figure has all of the details that one would want from a Knuckles figure, the dreadlocks, the face, the eyes, the nose, the grin, the fists, the spikes, the shoes, the Lego bricks, the tail, all that good stuff, he doesn't really benefit from the odd-looking sculpt. It kind of just makes him look creepy and deranged a bit. He's still recognizable, and you can still definitely tell it's Resaurus Knuckles, but he does not look nearly as good as the Sonic or the Tails. In addition to that, I want to point out that even though Sonic and Tails have accurate detail on the bottom of their shoes, Knuckles has none. And in the games, there was, quite a bit of stuff going on there. But for some reason, Resaurus decided to neglect poor Knuckles. Alright, with our very lengthy sculpt discussion over, let's quickly move on to the accessories. First up, we'll talk about the rings. Each Sonic figure comes with a very nicely detailed golden painted ring. Looks just like it does in the Sonic games, fits the figures very nicely in size, and I love having them. It also comes with a little clear stand to hold the rings on, but I have lost mine in the quite a few years that I've owned these guys, and I kind of regret that, but oh well. So I can't stand these up, but they come with stands when you get them new in the box. Also very cool are the three-dimensional figure bases that come with each of the toys. Here's Sonic's, and you can see they've taken official artwork from Sonic Adventure and three-dimensionalized it and curved it out. They just spent a lot of time, and they made these really nice. Sonic can stand on it in one of two ways. You can see the hole in his foot there and the hole in his foot there. And also it has a hole where you can put that ring stand I was talking about on and hold the ring up at the same time as your figure. But as I said, I've lost mine. I don't have that anymore. Here we have Tails, similar to Sonic, but it's a different color and it's still three-dimensional. Very cool. And also the figures each come with a sticker. Now this is something that people might really not know about, and they might throw it away accidentally. But these little icons right there are stickers. So that's just a nice little bonus. 3 accessories per figure. And unfortunately, I can't really show you Knuckles accessories because the main Knuckles that I have, I bought used and he didn't come with anything. I got a really good deal on him. But I do have one unopened in its box. And I don't know if you can see it back there, but there's a really nice silver base with some Knuckles artwork on it. It's actually this same artwork right there, but three-dimensionalized, and he comes with a ring and a stand for the ring also. So Knuckles has just as good of accessories as everyone else. Alright, so let's wrap this video up with the pros and cons and warnings. Pros, very nice, sturdy figures. They will break if you're too rough on them, but most of all, they're made from some very high quality stuff. The detail on them is really great. The paint job is really great. The sculpt is great in my opinion, but that may not be so for you. They come with some really cool accessories either way. You can't really deny the accessories. And their boxes are also very nice. The only cons that I can think of are that the figures don't have the most articulation, and that's somewhat limiting when you're wanting to put them into poses. It's not too bad, and especially with the help of their bases, you'll be able to achieve a lot of cool poses, but it could be better. Also, the sculpt on Knuckles, whether or not you enjoy Resaurus sculpts or not, is kind of bad. I think everybody can pretty much agree on that. So, last but not least, a couple of warnings when buying these figures. Make sure when you get a Resaurus figure not to break it. Be kind of careful with it. They're pretty durable, but I have seen them break before, and that's a really sad occasion because these figures are very old and very rare. Next, you may not like the sculpt on these guys. I personally find it really cool and iconic, but be warned that they are not game accurate. Also, be careful online in general when you're buying these guys, because people might sell you a broken one, or they might overcharge you. Just be careful when you're buying these guys online to get the best deal, because that's pretty much the only place you can get them. Another thing to look out for when buying Resaurus figures is bootlegs. There are a lot of them, but only for the Series 2, which none of these guys are. So if you're buying one of these, it's probably real. Also, keep an eye on your accessories when you get them. Those little clear ring stands can be really hard to find, and I've lost mine, so be careful with that. So, in conclusion, viewers, these are some really nice iconic figures that are a great part of Sonic's early history. Pick them up if you like action figures, things that look unique, and anything related to Sonic Adventure. So, anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.